Okay, if you've been spiraling down a rabbit hole, watching videos, trying to figure out what gear you absolutely, definitely need to have as a content creator, please let this be the last one you watch. Listen, I love gear, and I am very familiar with the gear review and recommendation spiral. When you see successful creators with fancy, expensive tools and must-have lists with hundreds of different pieces of equipment on it, it's easy to feel like your own success depends entirely on what you own. I know I've definitely felt paralyzed before, feeling like I can't create any content until I have the right tools. And then because there's so many options available to us, when we have finally made a choice, we often then continue to watch videos just to validate our choice and fight off that feeling that maybe, just maybe, we invested in the wrong thing. Thank you to Mauno for sponsoring today's video and encouraging me to reflect on this conversation. Now, I do want to share some of my own personal gear recommendations with you because, like I said, I'm a sucker for content creation equipment. But first, I need you to understand two things. Number one, the barrier to entry as a content creator is so low. All you need is a way for people to see you, a way for people to hear you, and usually a way to edit. And for a lot of people, this thing is a 3-in-1, which is why if you have a phone and you've been wanting to get started on social media, I need you to just go ahead and get started. Stop watching videos like this thinking that the right piece of gear is what is going to make you successful. Start messy, put in the reps while no one's really watching, and then along the way, as you continue to learn, invest in gear that will help you narrow your taste gap. That is the distance between what you are actually currently creating and what you truly envision for your content, but you just don't have the gear or skills to pull off yet. And number two, there is no magical list that will tell you what you need to create your content. While statistically, yes, because there are probably millions of gear recommendation videos out there, you are likely to find creators out there recommending products for your particular use case. But what I mean is that it's better to watch these types of videos once you have a very clear idea of what you need. If you start buying products simply because your favorite creator recommended them, you're going to end up with a pile of products that you will never use. Like how somebody told me that I absolutely needed to buy a recorder to capture the relevant background noises for my travel vlogs. So I bought this and never used it. Or how at one point, all of my favorite YouTubers had gimbals. So I present to you the most expensive paperweight. Man, camera YouTube really had me in a chokehold. You will absolutely know when it's time to invest in a particular piece of equipment. It'll be because it's providing a solution to a specific problem. So as I get into sharing some of my own favorite tools, I will be sharing why I use them so that you can make an educated decision on whether or not they will work for you. Okay, and one last guiding principle for gear buying. Don't just purchase with your immediate purpose or project in mind. Invest in things that are versatile and that can grow with you. That way, you're not back here on YouTube scrolling through gear recommendations 3 months later. Okay, let's get to the juicy stuff. A phone is how most of you will start, and it's as far as a lot of creators will ever go. In 2022, I was at VidCon vlogging with my camera, and I was surrounded by tons of successful content creators. And people kept stopping me to say, wow, you got a camera? So professional. And the joke is it wasn't even a particularly fancy camera. It's just that I was one of the very few people holding one other than the paid event photographers. All the other creators around me who were making a living off content creation were doing so holding this. Phones are a lot more flexible than we give them credit for. All phones basically shoot 4K these days, but Instagram and TikTok are still showing your videos in 1080p. And just staying in my iPhone lane, I don't know too much about Androids, forgive me, but if you have any of the pro level phones from the iPhone 13 Pro onwards, you can also shoot in ProRes, a super high quality video format, which allows you to really stretch your color grading edits to the max in post-production. And hey, if that is nonsense to you, I wouldn't really stress about trying to get anything fancier right now. But of course, the phone isn't the only device that you can film on. Like I said, I've been a camera girl. I do still use my phone for on-the-go shots, but I absolutely love the control that a camera gives me. The range of looks I can get from different settings or different lenses even. and I'm just a sucker for that more cinematic look. I am currently shooting on the Nikon ZF, but previously I had the Canon RP for 6 years. And this is what I want to highlight about getting a piece of equipment that you can grow with, because this shot and this shot were filmed with the exact same camera and the exact same lights. The only difference? Me continuing to practice with my camera settings and the physical setup and location of my lights. And I only seriously started to think about upgrading for my Canon RP when I hit its limits. When I wanted to take my color grading to the next level, shoot in 4K uncropped, and be able to film some really creamy slow motion shots. And now that I have my hands on the Nikon ZF, as I talked about in this video, I have not exhausted all the different ways I can use this camera to its fullest. Another great option for filming would be things like action cams. I have the Insta360 Go Ultra, and I have been having a lot of fun mixing this footage with footage from my other devices to tell a bigger picture story in my vlogs. It is super tiny when it's in its action pod and can be disconnected for an even more inconspicuous look. Hence why a lot of people have been recommending it as a go-to for shy vloggers. The back of this is magnetized, so you can stick it to metal objects and get some pretty unique shots. And it can also be mounted on your chest for some more action adventure-y shots. I am not particularly sporty or adventurous, but I have been enjoying taking this out on hikes or any kind of low-key adventures where I don't want to, or I don't think it's appropriate to bring out my whole camera setup. Okay, now that you have an idea of what you want to shoot on, something that is often overlooked is how are you going to support said device? Your hand, a tripod, a gimbal? Let's speed run through what I'm using. As someone who started out filming pretty much exclusively in their home, I made do with the most basic tripod ever. Literally, it was one that my dad found in a thrift store and it had a piece missing, and we ordered that missing piece off Amazon, and it held me down for years. This is why whenever somebody asks me for a tripod recommendation, I'm usually just going to recommend the Amazon Basic. Something cheap that will hold up your device. It will last you forever, or until you have a specific problem that you need addressing. And for me, that was that I wanted to start shooting more in public, and I was also doing a lot more travel. And my thrift store tripod was heavy and awkward. It didn't fit in my luggage nicely. So I invested in a tripod that would be super light and that could be condensed down into the size of a water bottle so that it could fit in the water bottle pouch of my backpack. And for me, that was the Manfrotto Element Travel Tripod. And I got the carbon fiber one over the aluminum, so it would be a little bit lighter because every little pound or ounce or gram counts when you're traveling. Next up, the Ulanzi Octopus tripod, my ride or die. This guy has gone all around the world with me. Again, it fits in the side of pretty much any bag that has a water bottle holder. It's super bendy. I use it to balance on random surfaces or coil around random objects. And remember when I said about getting things that are versatile? This has the threading at the top, so I use it a lot for my camera, but it also has this built-in phone mount holder thing. So I would definitely get this if you were somebody who is shooting with your phone but has the desire to upgrade to a camera in the near future. Next, the Insta360 Flow Pro 2. Whoop. If you're somebody who's only shooting on a phone, this is a super fun investment. I know I said I never use my camera gimbal. This guy is a whole other story. First of all, how compact it is, like that fits in my purse. And it is super versatile in that A, you've got a stabilizer, 2 clicks on the side here, and I can go from landscape shooting back to portrait, great for both YouTube and Instagram content. 3 clicks of the trigger, and I can spin it around and take advantage of the higher quality back camera. And so that I can keep myself in frame, a single click of this, it'll light up green, and it starts tracking my face. Woo. Ooh. And getting the most out of a little device. This also can double as a little tripod, balance on any surface, and it also extends to a selfie stick. Okay, and a little honorable mention is the Peak Design mobile phone tripod. Definitely the least versatile thing on this list, but as I got more into vlogging, I realized how many just little moments I was missing because I wasn't able to prop my phone on something. So I went out and I picked this up, connects to your phone via the MagSafe, I've dropped it a lot. There's a lot of wear and tear on it, and it's still going strong. Now on to what a lot of creators will say is the most important part of the content creation puzzle, if you're speaking, that is. And that is giving people a way to hear you. There is a long-standing saying in the content creation space saying that people will tolerate bad visuals, but not bad audio. And that's why if you were serious about investing in content creating gear, I would actually look at a mic before I looked at a camera upgrade. And this is the audio straight out of my camera. Let's just say that there's a reason even the most expensive cameras have an audio out jack for you to be able to plug in a mic or audio capturing source. This mic right here, the Hollyland Lark M2, has been my ride or die for about 4 years now. I originally grabbed it for the mobility. I was doing a lot of lifestyle content, showing off outfits, being out and about, and therefore I needed something that could move with me. But nowadays, most of my content is either talking head or doing voiceovers at this desk for my vlogs. And I'm usually running around trying to figure out where I last left this mic and the connector piece. And then I'm always fumbling as I connect it to my computer and try to reset all of the settings. And so a new contender has entered the chat. Let me present to you the sponsor of today's video, Mauno, with the PD200W hybrid microphone. This is a hybrid mic that can adapt and or grow with your connectivity needs, whether that's wireless, as we are now, USB or XLR. My primary use case for this is keeping the USB cable for it plugged in permanently into my desktop dock. That way I don't need to reconnect it every time I want to do a voiceover for my vlog. Shout out to Mauno for sending such a long USB cable. And then whenever I want, I can unplug it and turn any untreated space into a studio. Like here I am in my pretty empty and echoey living room, or I can start a podcast from my patio. Now, honestly, I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about visible mics in content, but the fact that I can just like podcast like this, it's such a visual vibe. If you disagree, fight me in the comments. I'm really impressed with the quality of this mic for how affordable it is. It's a great option to get broadcast level audio on a budget, but that can grow with you for the long term. If you are somebody shooting on their phone, you can utilize both the USB connection or the wireless one using this little receiver. Or if you're somebody like me who likes to shoot on their camera, you can grab the camera connector and shoot wirelessly directly into your camera. And then when you're ready to dabble in more pro level audio mixing, you can take advantage of the XLR connection, something I'm looking forward to playing around with for the first time ever. It has cardioid pickup, which means that it primarily picks up audio in this area, and 3 stages of noise canceling, which helps minimize background chatter. Now, I am not usually one to mess around with in-mic noise cancellation, just because I prefer to play around with it in post-production, but I do see the benefit if you're somebody who doesn't want to mess around with all of that, or you're using this mic to do something live. So let's test it together. Jump scare. I figured the best way to test this out would be outside next to a busy Hong Kong street. This is low noise reduction, this is medium noise reduction, and this is high noise reduction. Another thing that people definitely don't tell you when it comes to content creating or choosing the right content creation gear is the amount of calls that you're going to do. Calls with brands, podcast interviews, hosting or speaking at webinars, all sorts of random meetings. And I personally like to be professional every step of the way, so I always try to use an external mic. Up until now, I was using my little Hollyland Lark M2, but I really like the sound and the look of this, and since its resting status is going to be plugged into my computer and I take all of my calls from this desk, this is what I'm going to be using from now on. Also, you can change the LED color light. I obviously chose purple, my favorite color. If you want to grab the PD200W, I will drop a link in my description. I think it's a great choice whether you're a podcaster, a talking head creator, or somebody like me who does a lot of voiceover work. Now, you might have noticed that I did not bring up lighting. We didn't get into it because I really don't recommend overthinking this category, especially if you have a good window where you can get natural light. I used really cheap lights for the majority of my content creating career, and only when I moved to a different country and couldn't take said lights with me did I invest in something a bit fancier, which still by a lot of people's standard isn't that fancy. It's the JVM SD80S. I talk about it more in this video, and I picked it out because it's a bi-color light. I can make the temperature really warm or really cold. I can control it from my phone, and it has the potential to grow with me because it has slots on the back for portable batteries so that I can move it freely around my house or even take it outside. And I don't have that specific use case yet, so we haven't tested it out. I also have some fun little like pocket lights that I like to use as accents and, you know, fill lights. I have this little guy here, but all of these were super cheap. If you're looking for a lighting solution, don't be afraid to go on the cheap side as long as they are bright enough. I promise you, at least in my case, most of your time and effort is going to be spent learning how to set them up properly. It's not going to be the particular product that will make or break things for you. So if you're trying to figure out what gear you actually need as a content creator, I need you to stop overcomplicating things and to stop getting fixated scrolling through all of the fancy, expensive stuff out there that truly probably doesn't even work for your use case. Ask yourself truly if fixating on gear is stopping you from actually just getting out there and creating. Choose your gear investments based on what you're actually creating and the direction that you want to go. And if I were starting today looking for great studio audio that aligned with all my talking head content and all of the voiceovers that I do, and I could potentially hold on to if I ever decided to venture into podcasting, which is something I've entertained many times, even came up with a name and everything for my podcast, just never launched it, then I would absolutely pick up the Mauno PD200W. That way, I'm getting fantastic sound from the beginning and allowing it to grow with me as I experiment with different use cases. Now, get out there and create your content.